Nicky's back. What's going on, Nick? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Where did the signal go?
I think she just stepped away for a moment, but you don't need to worry about that. You're back from your little vacay. Did you have a good time?
I did. It was. I had fun. There's a distinction. I realized, like one of the last couple of days, I was just like, I just want to lay down and do nothing, and
that's good.
I needed to do more of that, and I need to find more time to do nothing.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that you came to that realization. Any highlights from the little vacay?
Well, I already was telling you about one of them, which is just how expensive. We went out to some beach club place. It was just an absolute ripoff. And my girlfriend and her friends thought it was the best place ever, and I was sort of just like, really? like I'm not so sure about this. But like every drink there was over $20.
That's disgusting.
And they also we placed an order for some items. They put it on the check. They didn't bring it out. There was
That's your favorite thing.
Actually, I'll give you a very Nick moment. So we had gone to like a winery right before this, which was not ridiculously priced. And then we went to this beach club place. And when we were at the beach club, basically we sit down and we're looking at the menu, and I'm like, oh, there's a price discrepancy on here. And basically one of the items was like $25 on one menu, $23 on the other menu. I don't even remember what the item was. And I'm just like, so we placed our order, and I mentioned the price discrepancy, and I'm like, can we get the $2, like $2 off for this? And the woman who was serving us came back. She was like, no, and the manager said you have to pay the $25. And I was like, we're about to spend $400 on like 8 items at this place. I think the $2 is going to be like quite all right. So I kind of like, I made a small issue. I made a comment on it. But
you should have been like, I'm going to sue you because this is your advertised price. You advertised this to me on your menu.
I'm going to sue you for $2. So yeah, that
no emotional damages. You could get them for $1 million.
Okay. So, okay. Yep. Is your dad a lawyer?
I don't know my dad.
Because otherwise you're going to have crazy fees.
No. It's like, you know, when someone's like, do you know who my dad is?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, we got the $2 off, but they also then didn't bring us 2 of the items and tried to charge us for it. So then we got that off the bill. But the bottom line is, I can't recommend Duria's Beach Club. What was the name of the point? Ocean Point or something like that. I'm gonna have to look up the name of the location. Other than that, it was good. It was nice being among my fellow millionaires and billionaires. That, you know, when I go around my neighborhood and every house is worth more than $5 million with the tree line. Those streets are some of the insane. I've been to like rich neighborhoods, but like the Hamptons has a pretty insane density of like wealthy, like vast wealth, basically. It's kind of shocking to observe. What is interesting though is like when you compare what you get, like, so if you go walking down any of the streets in like Southampton, East Hampton, Bridgehampton, any of those places, any of the main streets, you'll see all of the like the real estate or real estate offices, basically, where they have like the houses plastered on the side where you can like check out what things cost. And basically, like, there's a bunch of houses that are like $25 million plus, and then they have a couple that are like $2.5 million. You're like, and suddenly you're like, oh, that seems reasonable. But the houses themselves cost like a $2.5 million place in some of those areas was like a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, which is basically like Manhattan prices.
We got a $2.7 million 4-bed, 3-bath pulled up. And Nick, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is talking about the Hamptons. Also want to point out we're joined by Spencer, one of my favorite people. Very pleasant surprise that he joined. He's part of the New York elite. I wonder if Spencer has been going to the Hamptons for a long time.
You know, I've been out to the Hamptons once or twice. I've been going out to various beaches on Long Island recently, but
free beaches.
Yeah, free beaches. We can't all be, you know, the Hampton elite like you, Nick. We don't all have that that good running an NFT project money. But
yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that's what they said when you get to the Hamptons. They're like, "Oh, do you run an NFT project? Is that how you can afford to be here?"
People stopped me in the street actually because they noticed me from.
This dude bought 5 $20 drinks. This dude's loaded, man.
But yeah, they noticed me from. A lot of people were asking about bodaggos in the Hamptons.
Well, fun fact, when I went to the Hamptons like a month ago, I saw a guy with a Utes shirt and I went up to him and started chatting with him. And I was like, "Do you know bodaggos?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Yeah, that's like what we made." And he couldn't process it. Yeah, I feel like he felt like I was lying to him. I was like, no, like we made that. Like that. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's our thing. Glad you enjoy it. Glad you like it. Kix, you lived in New York. Did you ever go to the Hamptons?
0 times. I made $80,000 a year on my first job in New York City. I did not. I literally watched my bank account do a nosedive for the first 6 months, and that's why actually I love New York City, because it's so expensive. It literally forces you to be successful and make money. And that was one of the best things that it did for me. But I still had a good time. I went to I'm blanking, somewhere in Long Island, but it's like, you know, it's a nice area, but it's not like the Hamptons at all. Like it's a decent area. You can take the tram to it. It's like one of the last stops on the tram. But
okay. I mean,
yeah,
Montauk.
Nah, dude, it wasn't that rich, dude. It had like a normal person's name. It didn't have a Hamptons, Montauk. It was like something beach. Long Island.
Queens.
Yes, that's what it was.
To Queens.
Coney Island. You went to Queens.
Yes,
well,
Coney Island.
There you go. You went to Queens. Good job.
Good time. I saw the sun sometimes. I was more of a Saturday, Sunday walk through Central Park from Upper East Side to Upper West Side, go to a sushi place, get hammered on sake, and go to a museum. That was my kind of thing.
There you go. Well, yes, you were an Upper East Sider. Nick, anything else that was fun that happened to you on your little vacay? We're glad to have you back, by the way, buddy.
Was it a little vacay? Is that the way you view it? You're going to diminish the vacation that I had?
I'm not diminishing it,
just
buddy.
saying it. Oh, how did you have fun on that little basic vacay?
Dude, I'm not.
We had the other part of this. The last thing I'll mention associated with this was, so we went to Shelter Island was where we stayed. Shelter Island is a really nice place. You got to take a ferry to go on to Shelter Island, either to the north or to the south. And I also brought my e-bike, and we were riding around with that, which was pretty nice.
Must have been dope.
Yeah, that was really nice. The problem with Shelter Island is there's a lot of trees, and 70% of it or something like that is a preserve or reserve. I don't know the difference between a preserve or reserve.
I think preserve.
Yeah, well, preserve is also like jam / jelly, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. I've bought some preserve at a general store before with local strawberries. Yeah.
But anyway, so the upside is it's really beautiful. The downside is there's a decent number of bugs. And it turns out that my blood type is a tasty blood type for mosquitoes. And I got just lit up. My feet and ankles, I was like waking up middle of the night dying from, so I went and like bought stuff, and now I've found the stuff that works well. But it was a tough, 48 hours there dealing with the bug situation that was going on there. But other than that, it was nice. We had a really nice hotel. We had a great view. We watched a thunderstorm go on the first night that we were not participating in. It was across the way. Did some kayaking, and went to the beach.
Well, it sounds like a nice. Oh, God.
And by the way, Spencer, the private beach that I go to is very nice. They only charge you $100 parking ticket for parking there, so it's very nice. Highly recommended.
Is it a gifting good? You know, it's kind of like if you don't got 100K PFP, don't talk to me. If you ain't parking at $100 beach, don't talk to me. You know what I mean? Is that kind of how it goes?
Do they have waiters go up to you on the beach and like you can order drinks and food from them?
No. What you do is you pay for the parking ticket, and the result is there's like 3 people who are seated on the beach. It's pretty sparse, and
God,
you
I love
actually
capitalism.
you can see the areas where people walk out of their houses, and then what you do is you track them down and you rob them. So I found there were some great houses to rob.
It's a glitch in the matrix, infinite money hack.
Yeah, so it turns out like a lot of the people aren't even in their houses because they have so many of these houses. And what you're able to do is some of them have poor security. They don't have security guards that are there. So you just break in and rob those joints basically, and it's more profitable than flipping NFTs.
Well, there you go. Look, we were going to talk about one pop culture subject, but I think maybe we push it to tomorrow, although it is one that I think is quite interesting considering it's someone that I started following recently and they've blown up huge. And I see people on Twitter talking about them today. So it's kind of interesting that has happened. You know, that you just follow someone, they explode to the point that random people in other countries are just talking about them. But anyway,
who was that?
The girl Bobbi Althoff, who does
oh yeah, I've watched her. I had seen her first podcast, but I was like, how did she immediately get?
It's because she's super funny. So
WME though.
Oh, okay.
That's like the plug to how she's connected to Yachty, Drake. Has the Mark Cuban podcast coming up. I had no idea who this was, personally, up until like.
I'm not telling you anything anymore, dude. Anytime I tell you something before 9 o'clock, you steal my take on the show.
Well, here's the thing. I actually followed her on TikTok when she was a mom TikTok influencer, and she was straight hilarious. She has this like dry, sarcastic,
super funny.
Yeah, she like named her kids like Concrete and stuff like that. Just funny ass shit. And then people are like, how did she get all these podcasts? Like she has to be an industry plant. Like, no, dude, it's like called like you have a producer or you know, someone recruits you to a podcast. You know, there's
well, it's called blowing up on the internet. I started following her because she had this guy Rick Glassman on that Nick put me on to, and it was hilarious. She asked him, she's like, do you feel that you're successful? And he's like, yeah, I feel that I'm successful. She's like, why? And like asked him what kind of car he has, and he goes, I have a nice car. She goes, I didn't see any nice cars parked outside. Like I just got the biggest kick out of the antagonistic Zach Galifianakis between two
great.
ferns
Yes.
style podcasting.
Yes.
Then she had one of the actresses from Pretty Little Lies on the show, not Nicole Kidman, not Reese Witherspoon, but the third actress. And she just yeah, it's right there on the right. She no hesitation asked this woman, she goes, is the little lie that you're pretty? And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like killing it. And then she had Colleen Ballinger, Miranda Sings, which I know had like a weird scandal recently, but that segment is absolutely hysterical. And then she blew up to the point that she got Drake, and the Drake interview is absolutely hilarious. She pushes it really far. When she starts talking about his son. And I was like, oh shit, how far is she going to push it? She pushes it just far enough. Drake's really funny in it though. He says, he goes like, what's your favorite Tyga song? Like what's your favorite? Like he's shitting on Tyga.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn funny. It's pretty good.
The best part was she like kind of pushed him on like, because he was talking about his son's birthday and she was about to ask him like what day is his son's birthday, because he didn't know, and so he like 180s the conversation. You know what I mean? He's like next topic. He's like, I'm not gonna go live on air saying I don't know my son's birthday.
Yeah, she pushed it pretty far. It'll be interesting to see the Mark Cuban one. The Little Yachty one's a little bit cringe. I don't know if he's like that good of like an improv comedian. And I gotta say, improv comedy is insanely hard. So he's stepping into the lion's den, sitting down with her for an hour-long improv podcast where you have to deal with her dry sense of humor. That one's a little cringe, but the Drake one's really good. But obviously Drake comes from Degrassi. He's got an acting background. He's super funny. But yeah, it's crazy how much she's blown up. Like my friend that's a Signal that I talk about, you know, where he he texts you when Bitcoin's at the top or the bottom. The one I text Kicks and Nick about, he texted me about her like 2 days ago. So that was like a big indicator for me. I was like, all right, so she blew up really big. He found out about her. Bunny's got his hand raised. What's going on?
The Colleen Ballinger one that you were talking about, I don't know if you saw it, but she asked her to do the Miranda voice, and she's like offended because, like, I guess she didn't ask her about it beforehand, and she keeps pushing her until she does she makes her do the voice. It's like a 5-minute thing. It's hilarious.
Super funny. They break character in that one because Colleen Ballinger cracks her up at the end. It's absolutely hilarious. I mean, she's very good. It's hard to sit through a full hour of the podcast. It's like between two ferns for an hour, but it's definitely really good. It's crazy how big she's blown up. Spencer, were you aware of this person, or is this making its way to you right now?
I've seen a few things of people being like, it's crazy how much this person blew up. And so I've seen clips only in that context, but I didn't see the like full thing of it blowing up. It did feel very between two fernsy to me. And, you know, I'm a big fan. I think celebrities are in general too comfortable. And so the more that we can witness them being uncomfortable, it fills, you know, an empty void in my heart. It makes me feel like I don't have to be uncomfortable in certain situations. So that's really what's important here is making sure that celebrities are still on their toes, staying nimble.
Well, there you go. Speaking of staying nimble and staying on your toes, you got to do that if you don't want to lose money in this market. Why don't we go to Signal for the weather report, and then we'll dive into the show after that. We got a few stories to talk about. It's great to have Nick back. Great to have Signal back. Signal, the weather is waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And before anyone jumps to conclusions, yes, Nick and I were away at the same time, but we were not on the same continents. Just gonna put that out there.
I hadn't thought that was a possibility, but now that you say that, I'm sure. Were you in the Hamptons with him? Now I'm convinced.
Those oysters were so expensive, Nick, I have to tell you. Anyway, everyone, let's get on to the weather. It's Wednesday, July 26th. That total market volume coming in at 15 million, Blur at 11.6, while OpenSea at 2.5. Leaders, numbers just seem to be moving down. We've got Apes closer to 30, ETH, Mutants at 5.5, ouch. Punks at 47.6, D-Gods having a bit of a ripper downwards at 7.8, Azuki holding that 4.7, Captains at 5.6, and Pudgy's just holding the 4 ETH wall. Over the past 24 hours, well, D-Gods is down about 7% on the one-day change after farmers dumped into Blur bid. Only, I think, less than 30 days ago, that collection held a 10 ETH floor plus. But like all the other top PFP collections, it's been feeling the cutting of 1,000 cuts of paper every day, and that floor is now down at 7.8. Onto the art market. Well, art collector Anonymous, he's the owner of the 1 of 1 X copy, not going to make it. That received 130 ETH 1-year loan. The lending platform NFT5 called it a first of a kind loan in the 1 of 1 NFT art lending space. Over on Twitter, Elon Musk has officially locked the original Twitter account, the Bluebird Twitter account. It's gone. It's no longer active, and users will need to follow at X for the official updates. Little story there. The guy who owned at X was not able to sell it to Elon, so Elon in the end actually got it for free. He is now, the other guy is now at X 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. And then lastly, Cyberkongs is planning to migrate their game. The Play and Collect is going to go from Polygon over to Ronin. The Ronin chain, that's the one that was created by Axie Infinity, as well as launch their new mint Genkai across both Ronin and Ethereum mainnet. So holders will need to choose which network they want their avatars to sit on. And lastly, crypto pretty steady. It's at 29.2 on BTC, ETH in the high 1800s. Solana just chilling at 23.6, and Ape holding $2. Things pretty steady over in crypto and pretty quiet over in NFTs. But back to you guys in the studio.
Fantastic weather report, and great to have you back, Signal. Some other updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, which is the daily newsletter available at thenifty.com. You need to have an account at thenifty.com to claim our free NFTs that we drop almost every day, including today. So make sure you go to thenifty.com and make an account there. First story, Generation 4 of Reddit's collectible avatars is launching today, featuring Cool Cats artist and founder Klon Penguit. And Nate Baer, who's done an artist spotlight NFT for the Nifty platform. Shout out to Nate Baer, friend of the show, very dope artist. And other artists after the Gen 3 series notably recorded $3.7 million in sales. Look at that. Reddit figured out if you can make money selling NFTs, and they're going to sell more. No surprise there. Next story, Christie's Future Frequencies auction in partnership with Gucci has concluded with 6 out of the 21 pieces receiving 0 bids, including 2 Fidenzas by Tyler Hobbs. Most of this was attributed to the high price estimates and the additional auction house fees that were added to each sale. So the market's saying that they didn't like this auction from Christie's after we've seen, that's a pretty cool Fidenza right there that Clemente has pulled up. But this is after we've seen a few successful traditional auction house auctions of NFTs that contain Tyler Hobbs Fidenzas. So this has to be viewed as a misstep, I'd imagine. You don't want to have 0 bids on pieces in an auction. Last but not least, Gary Vaynerchuk teased a new card game for his VeeFriends NFT collection, which will further receive beta testing in a card collecting convention over the weekend. So Gary is leaning into his trading cards background. Those are your updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Go to the nifty.com, connect your Phantom wallet, the official wallet sponsor of Bodoggos and the Nifty, and get ready to collect some free NFTs over there. First story, CyberKongz. Oh, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Well, I missed the whole X thing this weekend. I found out about it yesterday. I did go full offline. I was not scrolling Twitter. I brought my laptop and didn't use it a single time. I did watch a little TV. That's what I cheated with. Watching the TV show Suits, which I did not realize is where Meghan Markle came from. And it's a good show. I basically have consumed 2 seasons. It became kind of an addiction. It reminds me of a lot of other similar dramas. But in the process of seeing that, because I had some news stories pop up on my phone, and one of the stories was apparently Meghan Markle and Harry are having relationship issues. That's what they were claiming, as after the Spotify broadcast or Spotify deal fell through because they couldn't agree on which guests to get, because Harry wanted to get Vladimir Putin and some other people on. I don't know. But
did he actually want to get Putin on?
Apparently, is it? I mean, are you going to go with Bobbi Althoff, or are you going to go with Harry, Prince Harry? But in the process, I saw this X thing that happened over the weekend, and I guess you guys already discussed that on Monday, would be my assumption. But
not that much to discuss. It's just X. He likes X, and it's X now. I don't know. What do you think of it, Nick? You come from social media.
He's just doing a bunch of weird shit, basically. It doesn't renaming from Twitter to me is one of the most ludicrous things ever, because you basically say there was no brand value in the name Twitter. That'd be like Google just renaming themselves all of a sudden.
Well, they kind of did, right? Alphabet? Or is that just the holding company?
That's their holding company, but it's not Google.com still exists.
Yeah.
And you still Google something, and you tweet something, and that was something that had at least some sort of brand value, and he's just saying, nah, it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Yeah, now with the X search, you just get a bunch of adult content. Anytime you just throw that in a Google bar, it's not safe, man. It's not safe.
It is weird. Yeah. I don't understand it. The other thing I was going to say was a story you just brought up with Gary Vaynerchuk with the
physical trading cards,
the trading cards, but at the National Sports Collectors Convention. What does that have to do with sports?
The National Sports Collectors Convention is what they call the National. It's the largest collectibles side of things for all things sports related. Signed memorabilia, helmets, balls, cards. It's a massive, massive convention where the most volume and turnover happens for sports collectibles yearly. People literally fly out for this. It's the biggest trading card conference in the country. It's a pretty big deal. A ton of content around it. Some of the biggest sales of all time happened there. Some of the biggest auctions as well. It's where I want to say the Mickey Mantle card was first auctioned off. That historic one. I think it's from a box of cigarettes that they inevitably canceled the cards from being in because it encouraged kids smoking. And it was like one of like 17 in existence. So the National is huge. So it's actually a pretty like interesting thing to see it there.
I understand it's a big sports card event. I guess I was just wondering what that
It's
has
more
to do.
collectibles in general, like Pokemon's traded there, Magic the
Oh,
Gathering.
really?
Yeah, it's like basically a lot of cards, collectibles in general. It's just called the National Sports because the majority are trading cards from sports, but you'll have people trading all kinds of collectibles. So you will get the typical like I said, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, basically any type of collectible that you can see there.
Spencer, is that where you were able to complete your set for your Magic cards?
No, I typically trade most of the Magic cards on Facebook groups or believe it or not, there's these Facebook groups where like tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, easily hundreds of thousands of dollars a day get traded. There's even Facebook groups where original Magic the Gathering art, so the paintings they scan to be on the cards gets traded, and those go for like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands a piece. And it's all just kind of done through Facebook groups. You got your reference threads. You got to deal with the mail. There's a lot of scammers. It's a whole kind of thing. So do a lot of that, and then a lot of it also happens in person at tournaments. I think these convention shows are often dealer-to-dealer transactions a lot of the time. So you'll have big dealers buying out other dealers, which kind of is a whole separate type of transaction. And there's some crazy. It's funny because I think a lot more than you may realize of trading card volume is actually just dealers buying and selling from each other. And I saw someone do like $1 million
NFTs?
trade the other day, right? Which was kind of nuts.
$1 million trade, you said?
$1 million trade in Magic the Gathering cards. It was like 10 really expensive, like misprinted early cards, basically for like an entire table's worth of stuff.
So you say it's dealer-to-dealer trading. What percentage of the volume is made up on that? Is there any like data on any of this stuff?
So there's not a lot of data on stuff that goes on at conventions. There's no data. The data
A lot
that
of cash
exists,
transactions.
a lot of cash transactions, baby. You're not, leaving that paper trail for everyone.
Well, is that a thing in the trading cards world that people don't want to pay taxes?
Cash. Well, it's not. It's more that they like. I wouldn't even say it's really taxes on it because a lot of it is like reinvested back into it. Like you'll have people, to Spencer's point, trade $1 million and then go and buy $700,000 worth of stuff all in the same like swing. Like a lot of those spaces that transact high volume in cash. It's also just like you have collectors and dealers from like those spots that try to like narrow certain markets, like especially with cards and like NBA cards specifically. They'll like corner rookie markets where they control basically the whole supply and dictate what that cost value is. Like we saw with Zion Williamson very heavily, where like even though he's not playing a ton and hasn't had a great start to his season, the card prices don't fluctuate because it's basically just whales who own 95% of the supply.
Well, it's also a thing too in the trading card market where like there's a lot more selling that happens online. It's really easy to sell cards online.
Like on
buying. eBay, you got tcgplayer.com is mainly where trading cards get sold, at least Magic and Pokemon. But the thing is, dealers' main thing that they struggle with is buying cards. And buying cards happens a lot more in person because people don't like to mail in cards they're selling. They like to go in person and negotiate price. And it's easier for the buyers too because, let's say you ship someone a card. They get it. They say, this is a fake card. Send it back, right? How do you know they didn't just swap it out for a fake card when they got it? And so a lot of people are really paranoid about stuff like that. You don't know. They'll be like, oh, well, you said it was near mint. I got it. I think it's lightly played. So, you get to do it in person is a lot better. And so most trade shows for most dealers isn't to sell cards. It's to buy cards because they sell most of them online, but they buy most of them in person. And so that's a big, big, big deal for a lot of these. There's also a really interesting arbitrage overseas. So certain, like for Magic the Gathering, certain sets are more plentiful in the United States than they are in Europe. And so have European dealers come in and try and buy up those sets to sell in Europe and try and sell their certain cards. So like foreign black borders, like Italian black border dual lands are much more plentiful in Europe than they are in the United States. You sell your Italian black border dual lands, you pick up some unlimited and revised dual lands, fly them back, and you got like a 20 to 30% spread across countries, which is pretty gnarly for any type of asset.
That's the old kimchi trade.
Yeah. Yeah, but with dual lands.
Look, it's interesting. Physical collectibles obviously tie in to NFTs. It's also interesting to hear about the struggles that sellers and buyers have with the physical collectibles. Nick?
I just think it's fascinating. Part of me, it like feels like like I want to check it out, this event. And secondarily, so if it's happening in cash, does that essentially mean like there's just this rift almost? I'd be interested to go there just to hear some of those people that are buying, to see if any of them give a shit about NFTs first and foremost. And secondarily, like what it sounds like is the benefit of the in-person stuff is the cash transaction approach means that there isn't, that it not being on chain is actually sounds like a perk to this ecosystem potentially. Whereas like there's an upside from the NFT side of things being verifiable. The downside is it's all trackable, and so you could swing both ways with this.
Well, I would bet.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I would bet that Gary's game, he's not talking about NFTs. I think he's just pushing the characters. And he's not, so how Pudgies have linked to the digital collectible, I don't think he's probably doing that with VFriends, and he's just testing it as a board game, which will then end up being in retail stores, in like the biggest stores in America. So I think testing that thesis out somewhere like that convention is a good place to do it, but it'll be more interesting that the guy who actually has a project from 2021 doesn't talk about it when he's there, and it's just a pure physical game.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, look, we're going to see how this all plays out with the collectibles and all that. We're at the bottom of a bear market. A guy like Gary is not tweeting about NFTs right now. Really, at the end of the day, our NFT volume numbers are very, very low right now. One of our topics that we were going to discuss is the coin market, Dogecoin specifically, and of all things, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, 10 Inu, and Sproto Gremlins. I saw Spencer actually tweeting about Sproto Gremlins. Spencer, did the fund acquire any Sproto Gremlins?
No, not yet. I'm really on the fence about it. I think it's a reasonable buy, believe it or not. But I gotta get more sense for the vibes. I was looking at I tweeted out because I wanted to see if there's a big Twitter presence. There isn't yet a big Twitter presence on them, or at least there wasn't in that response. I don't know. They're so weird. They're so weird. They've captured my attention in a market that feels generally very boring.
I mean, it looks like a Matt Fury copycat, basically, like what, but like pegs and stuff
Pog,
like that.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not original. It's kind of BS, in my opinion, the artwork. I know that people were saying like, no, but it's actually good, but it's kind of like, what's really the future of this thing? In my opinion, maybe I'm completely wrong.
This project, Sproto Gremlins?
Yeah.
Oh, this thing's trash.
It reminds me of, if you guys ever saw the Yellow Submarine animated thing,
like the Beatles.
Yeah, like the Beatles.
Yes, I've seen that. Yes,
it looks like something out of that.
Kind of.
I mean, except it's the Beatles. Like, I don't know. What is 3,333? Can we get a recap of what these are?
Look up the blue meanies from the Yellow Submarine thing.
I can give you a quick recap. So this project was spawned out of Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 Inu's community and got an official cosign from the project founder, the developers, who do smoke crack live. They've done it multiple times now. They have multiple videos of them punching bags with a crack pipe in their mouth coming out of a cave, smoking
You just
crack.
never smoked crack once. We learned that from Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, no, you just don't do it. But yeah, this was actually created by the community. It's closely tied to the floor price action. When the token pumps, these pump. They don't get anything from the project. It's their rallying call, and the team founder, who the crack smoker, will actually wear full body blue paint and just yell for an undisclosed amount of time.
Full body blue paint.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And then we've actually seen internationally like T-shirts of like the Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu, where it's Obama and Sonic on a T-shirt with a bunch of coins and the Bitcoin logo in the middle. So I don't know about you guys, but when Pio talks about Bitcoin, this is what I imagine.
Well, without question, the fact that the ticker is $Bitcoin, that's the fun. There's nothing funnier about it than that. When I found out about that, I thought it was funny. I remember, wow, they have merch. I remember
They have a limited hoodie that like sold out in under a second.
The hoodie slaps.
I'll be honest with you guys. It kind of makes me want to smoke crack because these guys are fucking creative as hell.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
shower
it can't be all
curtain.
bad. It
A
can't
shower
be all bad.
curtain.
I mean, I want to know what the Shopify store numbers are. Like what kind of numbers they're pulling in a duffel bag. Bunny,
The
you
double
like
bag
the
kind of
hoodie?
goes hard. The
That
double bag
one
kind of
looks
goes
good.
hard.
I like the whole thing. I like the Sprotos. I like the Bitcoin. I mean, dude, it's the most absurd meme, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say it looks like people that smoked crack created it. And quite frankly, there is something to it. I mean, the floor price is 0.55 ETH. It's very high.
No, it's higher. It's 0.6.
Well, that's
Very high.
The coin just pumped back. It went all the way up to a $95 million market cap, and then it crashed to like 38. Right, and it just pumped back up to like the 70 million market cap range. So you like Easy said, when that goes, then the Sprotos go.
It's wild. I mean, we were going to talk about Dogecoin and we were going to talk about this coin, Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu, or $Bitcoin, as they call it. Popcan, a mod in the Nifty Discord, is in the YouTube comments right now. He said, Harry Potter, I guess, is that what you refer to it for short, is just Harry Potter. Harry Potter will be around for the next bull. Quote me. So he's a believer in this token. I mean, something's got to be pumped by Norm. Is this thing exchange listed? I'm assuming it is not. Yeah, exactly. It is not.
It just got put on its first exchange a few days ago. It was MEXC, right? And the community freaked out because MEXC listed it under the ticker Harry instead of the ticker Bit.
Oh, that's
so they were
bullshit.
losing their minds over that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, dude.
I'd be pissed.
Bitcoin, and it should be confused with the normal Bitcoin. That'd be bullish for them.
The ticker is $Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the deal is. Nick, I can't. I'm trying to get a read on your face. I can't figure out. Are you thinking like, is this something I should buy? Or are you just violently confused? What are you thinking about, buddy?
Well, I'm looking at their Twitter, and I mean, this whole thing, the color, the clash in colors here. I mean, they're just using primary colors essentially.
Yes, it's like disturbing.
It's so bullish.
It's like painful to observe. But I mean,
But Nick, if you've smoked crack, you know that those colors just illuminate, and they really show very well in that situation. I've heard.
It's like disturbing.
This
Congrats.
is the kind of stuff that does, inevitably go to the moon in the next cycle. Like,
That is true. The
it's
more
stuff.
disturbing and deep internet it is, look at Miladies.
Exactly. Yeah, this reminds me like their profile pic, like their community kind of reminds me of that. And then their profile pic, like what was the Goblin one last year that
Goblin Town?
just like, oh yeah, Goblin Town, like straight meme. Like, I'm feeling vibes like in those categories. So I mean, dude, I wouldn't fade it. I mean, yeah, this week X stock, which is a steel company, went up like 3% because Twitter changed to X. So I think the fact that they have the Bitcoin ticker alone makes it worth $100 million.
Well, we got a commenter, Shy. He said it's a good coin, but if it goes on, central exchanges as another name, that does ruin it. I love how he's like, it's a good coin. Harry Potter, Obama, 10 Sonic, Shiba Inu. It's a good coin.
They've actually built, the devs have actually built stuff though, right? So there's like a crash style game where you can risk your Bitcoin on the website. And the fact that Nick just doesn't like understand it at all makes me even more bullish than before we started.
okay.
No, but I mean, like, look, this does feel like Milady's again. I wish we were talking about it before it ran 70% for the coin and 30% for the NFTs.
I would not be buying the NFT here. Like this just seems. Although, that's what I said about Milady's as well. And what's the floor of Milady's at?
2.6.
3.6?
Two.
I mean,
They
it's
got
still
as high
very
as
high.
4. Obviously, like you saw the Elon tweet sent them to like 7, but that was an outlier, I would say.
And I saw Whale post. They have the 9th highest market cap of any NFT project.
I mean, this content that we have on the screen right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a video where people are using blue paint. And I mean, it's just awfully disturbing, which again, for our space, I think is a bullish signal. I really do. I don't know if right now is the right time to get in. I don't know if this is a good price, but it does feel Milady style. What's so funny, Nick?
No, I mean
think you
that's
would
it.
think
Yeah.
of what I'm thinking.
What's that?
We meet up in a couple of months and we smoke crack and see if we want to buy the token.
No, I mean
You don't even have to smoke crack. We could just smoke coke. Yeah, that's like even classier than crack.
I mean, I don't know. Part of me feels like maybe I should just buy one of these things, see what the hell happens, see if it becomes Milady's. Live
Honestly,
it
I
up.
think it's a good play.
Nick, if you tweet out a Sproto and say, should I change my PFP to this? And then do like hashtag Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10. Dude, that tweet is gonna go 1,000 likes guaranteed.
We have a commenter,
Also-
Ebrink. Real quick, Spencer. We have Ebrink on the YouTube channel with a comment, very insightful. The comment is just, "It's better than Doodles." So thank you, Ebrink, for the very thought out analysis. This is better than Doodles, I guess. I didn't know what. I don't know what metrics he's looking at, but apparently this is better than Doodles. Spencer, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say if Nick buys one and tweets it out, that's just definitely the top.
I would agree.
As we've learned from most Nick's trades. So for the sake of the Harry Potter Obama Sonic Inu community, Nick, I think you can't buy one.
Yeah, probably the top.
Well, hopefully I can ruin their community. Maybe that would be maybe I just come in and ruin communities as a service.
As a service. I like the idea of you just terrorizing, up and coming, promising NFT communities. The price has gone up 70%. They're like, we think we got more runway. Nifty Nick comes in and just spoils the party. I like it. I think you kill the vibe, man.
Well, you
I
know
like
what?
it.
As Beanie has said, there's a lot of projects. They're just looking for an exit. They're done. They want to get it over with. You want to rip the Band-Aid off. Just have Nick come in, buy one. And you know what? It's not your fault if it goes to 0 after that.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Well, that's, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about $ Bitcoin, also known as Harry Potter, Sonic 10 Inu, and Sproto Gremlins. I wonder how many times I'm going to have to say this name in my life into a microphone. Who knew that this was going to be my job a few years back? But anyway, do we think that Dogecoin, I bought Dogecoin a little bit, nothing too crazy. I think I have like $1,000 worth, because I just know whenever there's a new cycle, normies seem very interested in buying Dogecoin, or at least historically they have been. Clemente put a topic in the call sheet that's basically that people might be speculating on Dogecoin given the Twitter makeover and the stuff that Elon's doing. Are there any legs to that? Kicks, I also saw you did a little Bollinger Band squeeze trade on Dogecoin. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, actually, I was, kind of a wuss. I put 2K 10x leverage at 74 cents, or like, whatever, Bitcoin at 0.007 or Dogecoin at 0.0074. And then I sold it and then I bought it back at 0.77. Yeah, but it's doing a breakout. And most of the Dogecoin breakouts this year have been at the top, and they've been like these quick blow-ups and then quick retracements. And this Bollinger Band squeeze looks like, if anything, kind of slow and steady. And then Elon Musk on his Twitter profile made his location XD. And the D is the Dogecoin logo. So maybe if you do a little conspiracy theory crafting, maybe they're going to be integrating crypto payments into Twitter. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, it actually kind of makes sense to me that Elon probably created Dogecoin, because it seems like something he would do. Like he was probably in crypto and he'd be like, it'd be fun for me to make my own project. So he probably actually created Dogecoin. So then it would make sense that he would make Dogecoin like the first crypto payment integration into Twitter. Also, by him pumping it with his own bags, he can sell some of it to cover his massive losses at formerly known as Twitter, now X.com.
Well, there you go. A little conspiracy theory on, Dogecoin and its relation to Elon Musk. Nick, any thoughts on Dogecoin as a trade?
Not really, no.
Easy?
Usually dog coins mark the top of any type of rally. We also have Bitcoin sitting in like the tightest Bollinger Band squeeze it's ever had in its history of existence. So people speculating that there's going to be a huge move there. So yeah, price could go up, price could go down. We got FOMC today. I stay away from Dogecoin because all it takes is one Elon tweet to cause price action in either direction, whether it's allowing you to buy a Tesla in Doge or whether Elon removes it from his Twitter bio. Then you get one side or the other. We also had Elizabeth Warren pushing for an investigation into Elon Musk and specifically Tesla and its involvement with Doge, saying that there's collusion going down.
Well, she's actually honest. I mean, I can't get mad at her about that one. What is the guy doing pumping Dogecoin? I'm just saying, why? He's just I can do whatever I want. But it's dude, you don't have to pump a random ass crypto asset. That's not something you have to do.
Not random, top 10 coin.
Kicks backing Dogecoin. Well, look, we got a little analysis from Clemente here. It's Nick, go ahead.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we're going to talk about NFT prices in US dollar terms from January 1st to today, and just talk about what we think of where the NFT market is going. It's actually pretty interesting.
Down.
I'll give you a hint. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
I said down.
Well, obviously.
If you flip a coin 90% of the time, it's down.
Yeah, absolutely. But real quick, the interesting thing is the few things that are up in US dollar terms. I mean, that isn't the fact that anything is up is relatively interesting. So what's down is literally everything. And what is up is a couple things. Crypto punks are up 12%. They started the year at 78 grand. They're up to 88 grand. I think the people that own crypto punks probably feel like that makes sense. Captains. So captains are actually, wait, Clemente, up 57%?
So
from January.
Yeah, so captains, the 6.6 thousand price.
In January.
Well, they minted out January 6th or January 4th. They minted for $1,300. Post mint, when they minted out, they went up to 6.6 thousand. So it depends. It's the two different price points. If you minted it, you're up 7x. If you bought right after the mint, you're up 57%.
There you go. Okay. And DGOTs are actually up humongous. They're up 138%. When was the bridge to ETH?
December.
So this is right after the bridge to ETH. They were still undergoing price discovery because nobody knew what they cost, because no one multiplied the Solana floor price by the cost of Solana, because that's just how the NFT space works. Things that are down, like I mentioned, is everything. Interesting one is Bored Ape Yacht Club down 91K to 56K. Nick's Bored Ape sale and my Mutant sale are feeling pretty good. I sold a Mutant Ape for like $20-something thousand right at the beginning of the year, like 14 plus ETH. Haven't looked back on that one. I think it's
Bored Ape is currently 56K.
Yeah.
Ooh, Bunny, how you feeling?
That's so rude.
Shut up, Nick.
That's so rude.
Spencer, look, man, you got a fund. You're an institutional investor in NFTs specifically. What's so funny, Nick?
Dude, Buddy's response was so, I'm now just telling Buddy, how you feeling? Shut up!
That was just so mean.
Hey, man, that's the only NFT Bunny has. So it's
Dude,
tough.
I'm the mean one. Nick's the mean one. Not me.
Bunny, do you have any other NFTs?
No, dude, I sold everything just about. I have my Bodogos, but yeah, I at the time Nick was selling his ape, like I sold my other Yuga assets. I sold the dog and I sold a bunch of land.
Dude,
mean,
the floor
The land
apes.
was hell.
You know what, dude? Blur has like killed the whole concept of like floor, mid rares, even rares. Like everything's trading for the same price. I'd like to say that I was early to that trend when I sold my ape at the floor, at whatever it was, 95K. But Blur has basically killed the idea, because I'm looking at, if you look at OpenSea for the floor right now, it's like a nice distribution of apes. Like some of these are like really solid apes, and it just makes me think like, what, like there's no one's valuing the distinction between any of them at this point in time.
That's
Like,
the market,
Nick,
though, right?
What's that?
Nick, did you list your ape? Did you list your ape or just dump it into a bid?
I think I listed it.
You listed it. We were on a call going back and forth.
It was like slightly above floor,
like
but
half an ETH over floor.
But some guy was saying that I should have listed it for 4 ETH more. I did. In hindsight, I could have made another 30 grand off of it. Was the timing of that situation, because it immediately pumped from when I sold it to like, I think the floor went up to like 120, 125, maybe 130 even. Yeah, and then it just imploded after that, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy looking at the floor right now. You can get some really nice items. The cheapest one on OpenSea, like, it looks cool to me. So yeah, this is such a weird part of the market that we're in. I think also some of it is driven by, I saw there was some email I got this morning associated with like price action on ApeCoin, and the take was like, we would not buy this here. This is just in a continued bearish trend. ApeCoin is one of the bigger things, I think, pulling down the price of apes, because it just hasn't pumped at all. I don't know which, whether ape drives Bored Ape price action or Bored Apes drive the ApeCoin action. But whatever it is, it's not looking good at the moment. It's a struggle. So, man, yeah, it's tough. It's tough out there. It's also one of the ones that I was saying, like, Bored Apes could be viewed. I feel bad saying this, but I think CryptoPunks are a way safer bet, in my opinion, is the bottom line. Like, for a moment there, it felt like, oh, apes are like flipping punks, but it just doesn't feel the same. And then with Beeple tweeting the other day that he was looking for shopping for a punk, basically, and someone responded like, buy an ape. And so I saw someone in our community say, buy a Bodago, which I mean, I appreciate. I saw Lucas saying, buy a Pudgy. And I'm like,
that's traditional NFT stuff right there. Just buy whatever I have or I make.
Yeah, exactly. The bottom line is, I think punks are are way better positioned at this point in time, and Bored Apes, I think, could see a revival. But
well, here's a question for you, Nick. Right? How much of the Bored Ape value is the value of its staking rights?
Well, that's a good question. Before it was 0. Now it's like some percentage of it. The reason is it's become a larger amount, primarily because the airdrop sequence that we were in, which is what I mentioned, which is also why I sold one of the drivers of selling that ape, was that previously we were looking at essentially additional airdrops coming out. And that was one of the main reasons for holding on to apes, because you expected subsequent airdrop value. The problem is all those airdrops got worse and worse over time, to a point where like you were getting like an ETH or something like that, which is still a lot of money. But 1 ETH is just, compared to what you used to get from Bored Ape Yacht Club when you were holding on an ape. I mean, the mutant drop you at least got tens of thousands of dollars, or I think for some people, at least, 5 ETH or something like that at a time when ETH was worth like 3,000. So you were getting like $15,000 minimum airdrop to you for every ape that you had. And now you're just not getting that. In terms of the staking, to your point, Spencer, I don't know the percentage of it, but it has to be high. And then the question is, what's the collectible value? I've been saying for a while, I think somewhere around $20,000 to $30,000 feels like a low that it could definitely go to. The problem with apes right now, the messages that I get from friends are like, are NFTs still a thing? You doing okay, brother? Like, I'm getting these messages, and the image that's always used associated with these now are apes. Apes are like the same thing as, like, they're not the same as Beanie Babies, but the publicity around it outside of the NFT space has kind of become synonymous with, remember when these were worth something, basically. And the press loves writing those headlines, basically. And it's like, do you realize these things are still selling for $50,000?
Yeah.
That's like obscene. So you bought it 2 years ago for $400 or something like that. The people that got wrecked were those that bought in at the $500,000 level.
Like that lawyer. Yeah, your lawyer. I think Labor Day maybe
They're almost worthless. Look at that. Bored apes are almost worthless, ladies and gentlemen, according to this headline.
$50,000 though. You're just like, are you fucking like this? This headline is just egregious.
Yeah, it's pretty bad
because it's just wrong.
No, I mean, dude, Nick, you just don't understand that, because $52,000 is a lot of money to you, but it's actually not a lot of money at all. It's almost worthless. Actually. Yeah. I don't want don't give me $52,000 right now. It's
I'm not
worthless.
out buying $52,000 items now. The one expensive thing I bought was that punk. What or Kicks is gone, right? It's
no, I was gonna say, but like, okay, so you have an asset. Say it was your house. It went from $500,000 down to $52,000. You would say your house is worthless. You've just literally lost all the value of that asset. It's worthless relative to what it was before. But also as well, like going back to the original question, I think most people right now have a bit of PTSD about some of the prices we've paid and we've sold at over the last couple of years. So to take a bet of buying a Bored Ape at 30 ETH versus a Mutant at 5, and both of those shares, they both overlap on so many benefits, at least in the direction that Bored Ape Yacht Club is moving in right now. You can take something like Ape Fest, both Bored Apes and Mutants get to go for free, and it's only the guest that's going to pay. I would rather take the bet on a Mutant than take the bet on a Bored Ape, even though my upside would be less. However, I haven't gone from 400,000 down to 50,000. So, you are starting from a clean slate, zero. I would take Mutants, but it's lower risk, lower reward, but a safer bet in this environment.
Blate said, so apes are the face of NFTs to normies, and that's bearish. The answer is yes. What they're the face of is the failure of NFTs, is how they're viewing it. And that's the problem. Like, when you think about, like, what is the branding associated with this thing and what their positioning in market is, maybe someone comes out, the thing that they've been focused on, Bored Ape Yacht Club, to their credit, is that decentralized branding thing that they did the promotion of. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? Where
I think we talked about it on Monday.
Yeah, last Monday. So they had posted that video about the thing that they're launching to support the decentralized branding. The problem is, it's like most things, I still am not a huge fan of decentralization as a method for gaining broad adoption, because you don't have anything that's like driving it. This centralized approach to promote those, I think, is very interesting. I'm interested to see what, as they provide clarity on the benefits, what the upside to this is, other than having a directory of brands that are associated with apes. I'm interested is there some funding associated with this? Like, what are they going to do in order to
get some of that ape coin funding that they're paying people $250,000 to not do anything, and give it to actual businesses that are making things?
Which seems like a good approach. And there's still an opportunity in this space to do that sort of thing. I was discussing it for us, and really, I'm like, dude, for some people to get 10 grand to like motivate them to start going to do something, to me seems like a significant like initiative if they're doing something like clothing. Like clothing is something that doesn't actually cost all that much to get started. Making it popular is difficult, but like you can spend $1 million and not make it popular. Just like you can spend $10,000 and make something cool. So anyways, the bottom line is that's the one thing going against Bored Apes at this point in time. And the punks, to me, still have some level of collectability. Don't get me wrong. There's people that post images of punks and discuss, remember when these were worth something. So they do get grouped together oftentimes. So it can look bad. But yeah, I just don't know that people are going to view NFTs in that way. But they also say, you can say the same thing about sports cards. And here we have the National going on, and that's been going on for years and years and years.
Well, look, so we can talk about this all day. The bottom line is, I think what we're talking about is whether, so NFTs were literally white hot to the point that it was as mainstream as like Justin Bieber. Like Justin Bieber literally bought an NFT publicly and like talked about it. Paris Hilton went on Jimmy Fallon and the two of them showed their Bored Apes and talked about it.
Those are paid though.
Regardless.
But
I mean,
still,
they put it on TV mainstream. I don't think NFTs will be mainstream that way again, but I don't think that matters. When I say NFTs being mainstream like that, like presenting it as like, this is an NFT, I bought one, here's the NFT that I have. I just think like, first of all, I don't think we're going to call them NFTs because I referenced this in a tweet and I talked to Nick about this, and Nick just got back from vacation. So I haven't had a chance to have an in-depth conversation with him, but I had a professional conversation over the weekend with somebody that's in the collectibles industry. And I talked about what I was doing. I was asking him for help with something. And I said that we have a digital collectibles business is what I said. That's what I said. I said, I need help with X, Y, and Z for my digital collectibles business. He didn't bat an eyelash. It was completely normal to him. There was no follow-up discussion. We just got right down to business. I'm pretty sure if I said the letters NFT, there would have been some sort of hiccup, friction, something. But because I said digital collectibles business, is just like, he was like, yeah, totally normal. I mean, he's a collectibles guy. It's like totally normal. Yeah, of course. Digital collectibles. And like later he was like, and yeah, if you're doing that digitally, like you'd want to do it this way. Like, you know, it was just totally normal. The video game stuff is the big stuff, right? The video game stuff, because the games provide this ecosystem and this activity that people really enjoy doing. They have the users and they have the time, right? The play time, the game time. I don't know what the metric is called in the video game industry. So integrating, you know, NFT, right? So in other words, digital asset on the blockchain to those things is just a no-brainer. When you talk about Bored Apes versus punks have been out for like 4 years, 5 years. They've already crossed over into actual fine art collectible. Like you see Snowfro and Beeple, they're doing the punk thing because it's already crossed over and it's insanely difficult for these things to cross over. Apes haven't like crossed over in the same way. Like people just don't like them. The bet for Apes is that other side and the video game production that they're doing is going to absolutely kick ass. And then that's the grail collectible for that world. So, I mean, look, we're at the bottom of a bear market. We do this show 5 days a week for over an hour. It's hard to, you know, talk about new things every single day. But if you fast forward like 2 years, again, I'm not saying Jimmy Fallon is going to be showcasing a Bored Ape again, but things will just get normalized and we might get a rebrand on NFTs where you just don't even call it an NFT anymore.
Yeah, it'll definitely, and it's definitely going to come back in some regard. The thing that's like so weird is that we see less of this statement where essentially a lot of people during the bull run were implying that buying NFTs in advance of the subsequent bull run, that basically there's just a higher, I'm exposed in this way where I actually think I'm still more NFTs than I am crypto. It's close. It's getting closer to even, but basically, like the thesis was on the next bull run, NFTs have this huge upside potential, which I actually do kind of agree with that. Crypto goes through the same cycles, and when crypto is pumping, I think NFTs are going to get some level of upside here. The thing that I'm not so sure about is just buying Solana a better move, or some other token in a similar range. I don't know that there is a comparable one, but that buying ETH is buying that a better bet than buying NFTs, and that I'm less clear about. But I do think things like punks, things like squiggles, some of these other things, they're just going to see high trades. It inherently, because crypto is pumping, they're going to see higher trades. Like, I don't think that NFTs cease to exist at that moment in time. I just think that it who knows what those that set is going to be.
Yeah, it's just a new asset class within crypto. To answer your question, the thing is like you're going to get the appreciation on a Solana or an ETH off the bottom. So I know the bottom of Bitcoin, obviously, like from the SBF debacle. Someone just said the underlying asset is always better. The underlying asset is always significantly safer, is what I would say. It's significantly safer, where I can just buy ETH, Solana, and Bitcoin excessively and sleep well at night. Whereas I can't buy a bunch of wicked high-priced NFTs excessively and sleep well at night. You don't even know if the founders of those NFTs are going to try to sell the business. They're literally trying to sell the business. Who the hell knows what's going to happen, right? But what I will say is, so let's say $80 ETH was the bottom of the last cycle and the top is 4,800. That's like a 60x. That's pretty nice for a quote unquote safe investment compared to NFTs. However, what was the appreciation on Bored Ape Yacht Club? Right, from like $400 to like $480,000, right? So, you can get these outsized returns with NFTs. It's just harder. Obviously, it's harder. I'm telling you what you can do to have good investment appreciation now. Buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm telling you, there's a playbook. Buy it and hold it and then sell it.
I like the buy Bitcoin play. Harry Potter, Obama 10 Sonic Inu is going to absolutely cook, baby.
Not $sign Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, the real Bitcoin. But anyway, Nick, any closing thoughts before we wrap the show? And I know Clemente has to give away a free NFT.
I mean, look, I don't think that the NFTs are fully dead, but I do feel like this moment in time feels like the time when, if you were looking at in 2018, 2019, people that were trading crypto kitties in the bear market and crypto punks, that was probably quite a geeky, isolated sort of conversation at that moment in time. Nobody was
only happened in the Discord and on their app. It was like you didn't talk about it. It was just they were dirt cheap. Like it was weird.
And so I think at that point, like the distinction is now, because they became so popular that the disdain from the masses over like those things were a scam, like kind of like the feeling that they have associated with it is like even more negative. Because if you had said that you were trading CryptoPunks, it would have just been like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Never have heard of those, but people have seen Bored Apes and many have seen CryptoPunks as well. So I don't know, man. It's just it's a weird moment in time.
It's the bottom of the bear market. And it's the bottom of the bear market. You're talking about a new asset class that just came out last time around. You're talking about an asset class where a lot of people, most of people, 90% plus, actually didn't believe in it fully, even though they like sold NFTs and stuff, right? People quote unquote leave the space. The other thing is that there's this just for fun mentality. I've talked to so many people and they're like, oh yeah, like, NFTs were cool, but they were just kind of just for fun for me. And it's okay to do NFTs or whatever just for fun. And there will be people next cycle that do it just for fun again. The difference is the market isn't going to ape into just for fun people. The market's going to ape into legitimate people because legitimate people are going to be building. I mean, we have that sponsor Planet X that's building that mobile game. That's just a fully built out game. They were building it before they decided to make it a Web3 game. We just had Bugatti and Asprey Studio do like a Fabergé egg type thing. Another sponsor. Like, you're just going to have more and more legitimacy, and the just for fun people that kind of hide behind. I mean, you know, it's just for fun, but you made $1.3 million off of this NFT drop. That sounds like a lot of fun. The difference is that that's just not going to be a thing anymore. I think a lot of the people that came and left are going to try to come back and grift again. But you know, look, if this stuff was easy, then it would be easy to make $5 million. So it's just hard to navigate. And people probably felt like they were crazy when they were buying Bitcoin in 2011 and 2012. So there's a lot to unpack here. I'm just saying. But if you're paying attention, if you're doing your thing, if you're buying quality assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, then you're at least going to put yourself in a position to do okay. Anyway, we got the password for the free NFT, ladies and gentlemen, Fearless24. Fearless24 for today's free NFT, one of the last NFTs in the Long Live Solana series. Very fun series, very cool artwork in my opinion. Fearless24 is the claim code. Go to the nifty.com/claim to claim that free NFT. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow. Great to have Nick and Signal back on the show today. We're on the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Eastern time. There you go. Little shout out to Bugatti from Nick. Subscribe to the show on YouTube if you want to watch the show. I found out this week, because Twitter Spaces was not working on desktop, that a significant percentage of viewers listen to the show on Twitter Spaces on desktop, to which I said, what are you doing? Listen on YouTube. What are you doing? Watch the stream. Subscribe to the YouTube. If you want to share the show with people outside the NFT space, then, or excuse me, outside of the Twitter bubble, then you can also share the Apple or Spotify podcast, wherever you find your podcasts, with them. All those links are available if you follow the NFT Morning Show account. Anyway, thank you.